I'm Julie, and this is the Q Coach video series for Foundation Draft. So my feeling, generally speaking, is that so much of building a foundation for our draft dogs can be done when they're young, they're puppies. This one's 10 months old, but even younger than this, or any young dog. Everything needs to be taught on the flat first. And when I say on the flat, basically that means without the cart, okay? So we can't draft with our dogs, or at least for the BMDCA rules, we can't enter until they're 2 years old. I think it's a great rule because I think that for the most part, growth plates in our big dogs don't close maybe 18, 20, 22 months if they're bigger dogs, right? And so we don't really want them to be pulling any weight until their growth plates are closed. We can really do some damage. There's a great picture going around Facebook about like what growth plates look like when they're still open in puppies, and it's astounding that they can even stand up, at this point. So we really don't want to be doing weight. So while we're waiting to be able to be doing draft with them, and before we can put them in a cart or start adding weight or any of that, there's so much that we can be doing. One of the things I do is I will take this cart and put it in the house if possible. Get them used to it being around, get them used to how it moves around them, and then in the corresponding videos you'll see how we actually teach some rear end awareness and teaching them to get in between the shafts and do everything between the shafts. But when I say on the flat, that's a common phrase that people maybe in agility or some other venue might be used to, but basically everything without the cart. So I'll do a full course without the cart, teach them back up without the cart, teach them even basic control, recall, harness and hitch, just without the hitch, 360s, left and right, the narrows even, and how I'm going to present the narrows and what that's going to look like. So it really helps solidify what our cues are going to be, how we're going to use our body. For me, I do a right turn like this, I do a left turn like this. All those things they're going to get used to before they ever get attached to the cart. So for me, my personal belief is in this way, we get them used to all of the exercises, we get them used to what everything is going to look like, as much real equipment as you can use, greeting by strangers, petting on the head, whatever you can get them used to, get all that over with now, while they're young. And then when they're old enough and you feel like they're ready to have the cart on them, or at least an empty cart on them, you'll only be adding one element. Instead of adding, oh, here's a cart and I want you to learn what my cue is for turning, right? So separate everything out. Teach all that stuff on the flat so that once you put the cart on them, they're like, oh, yeah, whatever, it's the cart. And they've already spent enough time around the cart and maybe the sounds that it makes so that it doesn't faze them, and they're like, yeah, that's what we do here. We're carting dogs. This is our life, right? So do all that. Some people will feed their dogs even between the shafts if they want to get used to it. You can teach them all their tricks. They can be sitting, backing, all those kinds of things in the cart even before they're ready to actually pull even an empty cart. For me, I don't probably hitch them up at least a year old, and that's an empty cart, and it's empty for a very long time. So that is what this video series is about. I'm happy you've accepted the challenge, and I wish you the best foundation, the best time for your puppies and your young dogs, and many happy years of drafting.